Welcome to our journey through the year 1992. We're talking geopolitical earthquakes, social upheavals, technological leaps, and even a dash of Olympic glory. 1992 was a year of seismic shifts and subtle tremors, a time when the old world order was crumbling faster than a cookie in a toddler's fist, and a new, often confusing reality was taking shape. So whether you were rocking out to Nirvana back then, or you're just discovering the glorious grunge aesthetic now, join us as we delve into the events of 1992, a year that, for better or worse, helped shape the world we live in today. 1992 began with the world still reeling from the aftershocks of the Cold War's end. The Soviet Union, that giant bear of a superpower, had finally breathed its last, dissolving into a collection of independent states. Now you might think, hey, less communism sounds great, and you wouldn't be entirely wrong, but imagine a world suddenly without its familiar, if slightly terrifying, geopolitical furniture. The collapse of the Soviet Empire sent ripples across the globe, redrawing maps, sparking conflicts, more on that later, and leaving everyone wondering what the hell happens now. Suddenly the United States found itself as the world's only superpower, which, let's be honest, is a lot of responsibility. Even for a country with a penchant for oversized foam fingers and competitive hot dog eating contests. So yeah, 1992, the year the Cold War truly ended. Not with a bang, but with a confused whimper. Across the pond, Europeans were busy forging a new path, one paved with, well, paperwork mostly. The Maastricht Treaty, signed in February 1992, officially established the European Union. The Maastricht Treaty was a big, ambitious attempt to create a single market, a common currency, hello euro, and even a shared foreign policy. Think of it as a giant continental group project, with all the inherent challenges and occasional shouting matches that entails. The goal was to create a more unified and prosperous Europe, and while the journey hasn't always been smooth sailing, the EU has certainly left its mark on the world. But hey, at least they got a cool flag out of it. Back in the United States, the year 1992 took a darker turn with the eruption of the Los Angeles riots. On April 29th, after the acquittal of 4 police officers in the brutal beating of Rodney King, the city of Los Angeles exploded in anger and frustration. The shocking video of King's beating had shocked the nation, exposing the deep-seated racial tensions and police brutality that plagued American society. The acquittal of the officers felt to many like a punch in the gut, a blatant denial of justice. For 6 days, Los Angeles burned as rage, grief, and despair spilled onto the streets. The riots left over 50 people dead, thousands injured, and caused billions of dollars in damage. They were a stark reminder of the deep wounds that divided American society. The images of Los Angeles engulfed in flames remain etched in our collective memory, a haunting reminder of the consequences of unchecked injustice. Chapter 4. War erupts in Bosnia. As if the world didn't have enough problems in 1992, a bloody conflict erupted in the heart of Europe. Following the breakup of Yugoslavia, the newly independent Republic of Bosnia and Herzegovina became a battleground for ethnic and religious tensions. Serbs, Croats, and Bosniaks, once living in relative peace, turned on each other with a ferocity that shocked the world. The conflict was fueled by a toxic mix of nationalism, historical grievances, and political opportunism. The Bosnian War was a brutal and complex conflict characterized by ethnic cleansing, mass killings, and the siege of Sarajevo, which became a symbol of the horrors unfolding in the Balkans. The international community struggled to respond to the crisis, with the United Nations peacekeeping forces often caught in the crossfire. The Bosnian War exposed the limitations of international intervention and the devastating consequences of unchecked hatred. Chapter 5. Saving the Planet, One Treaty at a Time. Amidst the turmoil and conflict, 1992 offered a glimmer of hope for the future of our planet. The Earth Summit held in Rio de Janeiro brought together world leaders, scientists, and activists to address the growing environmental crisis. The summit resulted in several landmark agreements, including the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, the Convention on Biological Diversity, and Agenda 21, a blueprint for sustainable development. Now these agreements weren't perfect, and progress has been frustratingly slow at times. But the Rio Earth Summit marked a turning point in our understanding of the interconnectedness of environmental issues and the need for global cooperation. Chapter 6. Don't Stop Thinking About Tomorrow. America elects Bill Clinton. Back in the US, the political landscape was undergoing its own transformation. After 12 years of Republican rule, a young, charismatic governor from Arkansas named Bill Clinton captured the White House, promising hope, change, and a saxophone solo on Arsenio Hall. Clinton's victory marked the end of the Reagan-Bush era and ushered in a new era of Democratic leadership. Clinton campaigned on a platform of economic opportunity, social justice, and a more inclusive America. His victory was seen by many as a rejection of the divisive politics of the past and a sign of a more progressive future. Of course, Clinton's presidency wouldn't be without its own share of scandals and controversies because, well, this is American politics we're talking about. But in that moment, as Clinton took the oath of office, a sense of optimism filled the air. But let's not forget about the lighter side of 1992. The Summer Olympics held in Barcelona, Spain, provided a much-needed dose of athletic spectacle and international camaraderie. From the iconic lighting of the Olympic cauldron by Paralympic archer Antonio Rebolo to the Dream Team's basketball domination, the Barcelona Olympics were a showcase of athletic excellence. Who could forget the image of a victorious Carl Lewis crossing the finish line, his flowing mane of hair trailing behind him? But beyond the medals and records, the Barcelona Olympics were a celebration of human potential and the unifying power of sport. The Games also left a lasting legacy on Barcelona, transforming the city into a global tourist destination and showcasing its unique blend of history, culture, and modernity. Chapter 8. What's up, Doc? Cartoon Network is born. Meanwhile, back in the world of television, a revolution was brewing, one fueled by animation cells and wacky sound effects. On October 1, 1992, Cartoon Network launched, unleashing a torrent of animated mayhem upon an unsuspecting world. Remember a time when you had to wait an entire week for a new episode of your favorite cartoon? Well, Cartoon Network changed all that, offering a 24/7 buffet of animated goodness, from classic Looney Tunes to the wacky adventures of Space Ghost coast to coast. It was a haven for kids and animation enthusiasts alike, a place where imagination ran wild and laughter was the only currency that mattered. Cartoon Network's impact on popular culture is undeniable. Chapter 9. Windows 3.1- It's a GUI baby. While Cartoon Network was revolutionizing television, a little company called Microsoft was busy changing the way we interact with computers. Windows 3.1, released in April 1992, wasn't just another software update, it was a paradigm shift. Remember the days of clunky command prompts and text-based interfaces? Well, Windows 3.1 ushered in the era of the graphical user interface, making computers more user-friendly and accessible to the masses. Windows 3.1, with its colorful icons, intuitive menus, and revolutionary features like Minesweeper and Solitaire, brought personal computing to the masses. It was the operating system that launched 1,000 desktops, paving the way for the Windows dominance we see today. Chapter 10. Marlene Dietrich, A Star Fades to Black. 1992 also saw the passing of a legend. Marlene Dietrich, the iconic actress, singer, and style icon, died on May 6 at the age of 90. Dietrich's career spanned over 6 decades and left an indelible mark on film, music, and fashion. From her breakout role in The Blue Angel to her unforgettable performances in films like Morocco and Shanghai Express, Dietrich captivated audiences with her beauty, talent, and undeniable charisma. Off-screen, Dietrich was known for her humanitarian work, her outspoken activism, and her unwavering support for the Allied troops during World War II. She was a complex and fascinating figure, a true icon of the 20th century. Dietrich's death marked the end of an era, but her legacy continues to inspire generations of artists, performers, and free spirits around the world. Outro 1992, the year that was. Thanks for joining us on this trip back to 1992. We've journeyed through political upheavals, social unrest, technological advancements, and even a bit of Olympic glory. From the fall of the Soviet Union to the birth of Cartoon Network, from the tragedy of the Rodney King riots to the hope of the Rio Earth Summit, 1992 was a year that had it all. So the next time someone tells you that history is boring, just tell them about 1992. a year that proved that history is anything but.